it's rare for a day to go by where we don't get some requirement for support or help with a dog bite. So I've been looking at this since I started my career in Alder Hey about 20 years ago, because I was struck by the number of dog bites we were getting. And we did a study in about 2006 to 2008, which indicated at least one dog bite per day taking place in Merseyside across children and adults.
Plastic surgery for children being bitten by dogs is still happening at a frequency that may surprise you. We can speak to Dr Christian Duncan, who is a leading consultant plastic surgeon and craniofacial surgeon at Alder Hey Children's NHS Foundation Trust in Liverpool. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the programme.
You're very welcome. I think it's something that some people are uneasy about because they know that they feel that it's going on a lot right now, but you know they're not sure. And you know, some of the figures from the RSPCA would certainly suggest that there has been an increase. What has it meant for you? How often are you seeing? Are you having to treat someone because of this?
It's rare. It's rare for a day to go by where we don't get some requirement for support or help with a dog bite. So I've been looking at this since I started my career in Alder Hey about 20 years ago, because I was struck by the number of dog bites we were getting. And we did a study in about 2006 to 2008, which indicated at least one dog bite per day taking place in Merseyside across children and adults. And in about 2020, some colleagues in AED started a pro forma looking at the number of dog bite attendants coming in, because only a certain percentage of them will come up to plastic surgery for requirement for reconstruction. And it's looking like it's gone to about 200 per annum plus as at 2020. We don't have the 2021 and 2022 figures crunched yet. And there's a bit of a seasonal variation, a few more in summer, a little bit less common in winter, but as soon as the sun comes out, it seems to go up.
Right.
So you might get 1 to 2 a day. There might be a couple of days where nothing happens, and then you'll get another couple. It's certainly every week, almost every day.
Gosh. And what kind of range of injuries? What is the least serious? And I appreciate that these are all serious, because once they come to you, they are serious, but the least serious through to the most serious that you have had to deal with?
The majority of these injuries are puncture injuries with no tissue loss. Early on, sort of a decade or so ago, we were taking about 80% to theatre. Now we only take 20% to theatre, which gives you an idea of how much more confident we become with less interventional treatment. But it's still the case that you can have either significant lacerations that cross cosmetic units and therefore need to be carefully repaired, or else you can have tissue loss, such as what you heard with Anna's story. And Anna's story is absolutely typical. The most commonly injured area on the head and neck really is the upper lip, followed by the cheek, followed by the ear, and that probably constitutes about 75% of the injuries. And the range, I mean, this is a relatively early in the day broadcast, so there's a limit to how lurid I actually want to be. But we've had everything from minor punctures, which are very common, to in the last 3 or 4 years, we've had 2 people with penetrating brain injuries.
Goodness me.
And significant tissue damage in both of those cases. I've had a couple of cases in the last year of significant percentages of upper lip loss, for example, 25 to 60%. And that is a injury that leaves a person with a consequence that's absolutely lifelong. There's a limit, we're pretty good at what we do, but we're not, we can't work magic. Once tissue's gone, that there's always going to be a sign that something has happened.
Yes. I mean, I understand that you're talking about this from a medical point of view, but you're noticing the kind of injuries and also the kind of things that you can do to help these children. What needs to be done in your opinion to stop, all these children coming to you?
Well, we've had a fairly long history of public engagement with other stakeholders who are involved. So in my case, one of the concerns that I had was, and this was in the early, before 2010, was the the idea that the solution was to put the dog down if it bit somebody, which sort of seemed to put the blame on the dog. And my impression has always been that this has really been a people problem. So you need to get the people on board. And that means improving education about how to look after dogs, improving education for children about how to behave around dogs. And we've had engagement campaigns with Merseyside Police for a number of years. At Alderhay, we endorse an MDSP dog poster, which is all around about dog safety, which is the do's and don'ts. So there's a big public health safety, public information, education campaign that needs to take place. I listened to the piece earlier on today about dog licensing. I think that that's a good idea. I think that anything that creates a link between the owner and the dog, and a responsibility and an onus to act in a safe way and to manage your dog in a safe way, I think that's really important. But I'm not a fan of the idea of bans. Because even in our earliest piece of work, there really wasn't a relationship between the banned dogs and the biters. And there's some of the academics in Liverpool University, there's one of them, a senior lecturer called Carrie Westgarth, provided some figures to me. The commonest biter at the moment is the French Bulldog.
Right.
And if you look at the species involved, or the breeds, there are at least 38 breeds involved or implicated in biting.
I see.
In these days, it's actually most commonly French Bulldog, I think Shih Tzu, Jack Russell. The German Shepherd comes in at around about fifth, but that's because it's a common dog. And that's varied throughout the years. Years ago, the American Pit Bull was actually our most common biter. We did an audit, and that came out. But trends change, so you can't focus.
On
any individual breed. That's just silly.
Christian, thank you so much for that. It was really interesting, shocking as well. Dr. Christian Duncan, he is a leading consultant plastic surgeon and a craniofacial surgeon at Alderhay.